Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction for you guys. Today guys, of course, we're here checking out the newest episode of The Flash Season 8. This is The Flash Season 8, Episode 8, The Fire Next Time. Interesting title, The Fire Next Time. Okay, so last episode, didn't really enjoy it. Had Goldface, Daddy likes the metal. Had Kramer, don't like that character. No, haven't really enjoyed that character at all. And she found out that Barry's the Flash. So that's really what happened in terms of like major reveals within the episode. Oh, also they teased again after the after credit sequence. They teased once again Iris's time sickness that has been referred to in terms of like they're going to cover that in a storyline this season. So apparently Iris's sickness in last season hasn't been fully like fixed, or maybe the fix something else went wrong. I'm not really sure, but they're definitely teasing it up. They've teased at the past two episodes in terms of an after credit sequence. So we'll see what happens within this episode. We know that Flash is getting a Season 9. I forgot to mention Superman and Lois got a Season 3 renewal in my Superman and Lois video yesterday. But Flash has a Season 9, which now makes it the longest Arrowverse show in terms of like shows that were started based around Arrow in terms of that, because we know they've tied in a bunch of other shows since then due to Crisis in terms of Smallville, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of shows that were based around the Arrowverse in terms of spawning off of Arrow, The Flash, when Season 9 starts airing, will then officially surpass Arrow in terms of seasons. So that's interesting. So look, for me, it's like this. There's still, I think, some good stuff they can do within The Flash, and they proved that with Armageddon. That crossover event was so well done, but of course, these past two episodes haven't been the best. I personally like the Nora and Bart episode more than last week's episode. Of course, Goldface really brought that episode down last week, but I want this show to continue to do good, because they've already proved it within the season with Armageddon. So if we can get back to that sort of storytelling in terms of reveals and how they built the tension, how they revealed interesting things within the plot, in terms of how they structured Armageddon, and not so much all the guest characters, but you get my point in terms of how they developed the story. If they could do that within the remainder of Season 8, or within, you know, these storylines they're going to be covering, then it can continue to prove that it's worth keeping on, in my opinion. But that's just me. So let's get into now, guys. Episode 8 of Season 8, The Fire Next Time. Let's see what they do, guys. Please be good. Let's go.
Yeah, I gotta get used to it eventually. It's just
What? Wait. What?
really. He's the manager.
What? What the hell happened?
Morning, Alan. Brooke.
She's appearing more often now.
Help us piece this together.
Interesting.
That's him. That's the guy.
Oh,
Jocko.
wasn't he in the show before? He looked familiar.
Is there something that you want to tell me?
What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Taylor, if the bullpen knows,
It's awkward.
come to you when I say no.
Yeah, then it's a whole hierarchy thing. Yeah.
Look, you might be surprised at what the two of you can do together.
Oh boy. Besides disaster, potentially, because they don't like each other? Oh, they're pulling up quick. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, that was quick. But I mean, I don't know. Oh my gosh. He's thinking back on his action. Okay.
Guessing you feel differently.
Yeah. He wants to make sure that he's not being railroaded here.
An argument.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger Things.
You know that Birch had motive and
Yeah.
opportunity for this murder.
Yeah.
See the look on his face when they took him from his son.
Using my powers to read a client.
No, not the best. Yeah. Yeah.
Whole line that I can't cross.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god, it's so good to see you. So you've been working here since
So
you got
what's
out?
going on here? Who's this?
My first gig was cleaning out porta potties. That was fun. You got out, walked into a legit career.
Oh,
You.
good for you.
Meanwhile, I busted my butt.
Every second of the 4 years I spent in that prison,
4
is
years.
serving time too. I've been around long enough to know you're about to tell me I'm screwed.
Yeah. I mean, unless something happens. I mean,
I'm innocent.
All of the evidence is still pointing to him as the killer.
yeah. But what ability did he use to kill the guy without burning everything else?
You're gonna take it all back.
Jesus.
Being custody is not exactly
Not the.
exculpatory.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean you're innocent.
Right, Bear. He didn't skip town, not without a
because he cares about his son, and he's tying it into, of course, him and his father.
Emergency dispatch.
So wait,
There's no pyrokinetic meta who could replicate burns like that, even if they tried. I told you something about Birch's case just wasn't adding up.
Barry, we're the ones who told Birch.
And the more emotional he gets, the stronger his powers are.
yeah, but sums up. What is going on?
Notice he wasn't in a bad mood today. Each of us have been trying to help him from the beginning, but then Birch ran off.
Yeah.
Protect his son.
You're asking us to believe in something impossible.
Yeah, I am. Because if anyone had when I was a kid, my dad wouldn't have gone to jail.
See, that's the connection.
Barry, honey.
Cecile told me what happened.
He's been going through a lot.
About you.
No, I don't
Yeah.
have to be. I'm fine.
Mm,
I had to miss his own party.
And you were disappointed.
damn, that sucks.
Understood.
Yeah.
He was helping save people's lives.
That was the last one before it happened.
Damn. The last one.
Jordan, look. All the birthdays we spent separated by plexiglass.
Mm.
I can't let Birch and his son go through that if he's innocent. You think maybe I've had blinders up this whole time?
You could, but I mean, I think you're right about the evidence and everything. Or found something you need to see. Okay, what is it, Chester?
Like, or you could have made the story so much better if you would have helped her like I asked you to do.
But you chose not to.
I'm so sorry. I want you to talk to Taylor.
Uh-oh.
You're her
Uh-oh.
immediate boss, so it's up to you to fix this.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Nuclear fusion.
What you're describing?
Fusion.
Cold fusion.
Oh.
Birch's powers come from absorbing heat, not nuclear fusion.
It's a social services SUV.
He's trying to get his son.
Of course he is. So go. So go. So go. What is shaking the ground?
Harold, I know how bad this looks. No matter what I do, you always think I'm a killer.
I mean, but you're not. You're innocent. Firearms.
Your lawyer found evidence to prove you're innocent, but you have to stop what you're doing before anyone gets hurt.
Okay, exactly. What's shaking the ground?
Come on.
Hey, there's a volcano's worth of magma erupting beneath the city's lower
What?
crust.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
So much heat from the...
What the hell?
Officer, get them back!
Let's rock.
Let's rock. Oh no. Okay, he's pulling it off. Good times back then.
They are gonna be all right.
Hope so. He should have gotten that way sooner.
I want to apologize.
You
Yes,
better.
Iris loves the Sanchez story, but
Yeah.
we are running your piece on Rosie Levin next week. What did I do to deserve getting stabbed in the back by my own supervisor?
Well,
I got lost in a great story. You stole my byline. You're still publishing your article because Iris is a journalist with ethics. I'm gonna destroy you.
oh Jesus. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Baby, okay?
No, I mean, the stories are hitting are great, but it's just it's lots to process.
Remembering him this way. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I got water. Happy birthday.
There's a meta serial killer out there we need to find
Met a serial killer.
before somebody else gets
Okay. So we have a mystery on our hands, literally, because the fire meta that was being framed essentially, or basically was being looked at because he was right there when the first guy got killed, like, right at the beginning of the episode, the first thing we saw. And then the other person working at the same bar, who we've seen this place a couple different times. We saw it. Was it the last episode with Frost and Chilblain? Or maybe that was episode 4. But anyways, that whole thing went down. Of course, Caitlin and Frost having issues and stuff, and Caitlin letting all of her frustration out. But she died shortly after running into Birch, who escaped out of prison and stuff, and was threatening her and everything. And then it cut away, of course, to commercials. But he wasn't the killer. Something to do with cold fusion, because they left the after credit scene with saying there's a meta serial killer out there that has some sort of abilities, because the way they shot it, like, the stool burned that guy's hand, and then the, like, music turned on, and then, like, this, like, weird, like, POV shot of the whatever this meta is or whatever, and it's like this, like, weird pulsing or whatever. It's like a weird thing, and then the guy's like, oh, he falls over. It's like, okay. But they keep the focus on Birch as the suspect, and they tie it in with Barry having a really like sad-ish mood at the beginning of the episode in terms of when we first get to him. And I forget like if it was on like, because I was trying to pay attention to the calendar but I didn't see it, but it was Henry Allen's birthday, of course Barry's dad, and I thought that it was the day that Barry's mom died and that Henry was arrested, because they tied that in with Birch being arrested and his son, which we didn't know he had a son years ago when they introduced him. I'm trying to remember, was he the meta that was a part of the Iris becoming a speedster episode years ago? I'm trying to remember. Maybe that was not the same episode, but he was introduced years ago. We haven't seen him since, and he claimed that he changed his ways, and he apparently did, because he wasn't the actual killer. But of course escaping and everything and running into the woman that ends up dying second in terms of what they found body-wise from this mysterious meta with cold fusion abilities, some sort of abilities that made it look like he did it. But they're pointing out the fact too, when they found the first guy in the bar or whatever, that like he's the only one that was burned to a crisp and his body is all like disfigured and stuff and it's really burnt, but nothing else is burnt. And every single time they showed Birch using his abilities, his whole arms would become just flame on, like all the fire on his arms when he stretched his arms out. And it's like, okay, he would have caught stuff on fire. They would have found fingerprints. They would have found something. So there was a mystery, a part of that. But Barry was trying so hard to prove that Birch was innocent. And I understood why. My thing is this. I appreciate that they brought in the whole Henry aspect of it, and where Barry was thinking about his dad and connecting it to his dad in terms of seeing Birch being arrested and then thinking back on when his father was arrested and how that's tying into how he feels Birch is innocent. I like that aspect of it because I feel like it's important, because realistically we haven't really focused too much on Henry since Henry died in season 2 of The Flash. Like he was of course let out of prison. I think it was the season 2 premiere. He was let out of prison. He was gone for the majority of the season, came back for a few episodes, then died by Zoom. And from then, we've seen bits and pieces of Henry. Of course, John Wesley Shipp's been around for quite a bit, playing, Jay Garrick. He played, of course, Henry. Of course, Henry, he played, I think, did he play something else as well? At some point, I'm trying to remember. But, of course, we've seen a bit of him within the show. But to see them tying it back in, of course, everything to what Barry experienced when he was a kid, of course, I like that aspect. What I didn't really like what I really didn't connect with so much is the Birch stuff, because I thought Birch was a weird character years ago, and what they were trying to do was show that, of course, he's in a better place and he got let out early due to good behavior, and his son, but I just really wasn't connecting too much with it. But I think it was like completely bonkers that the show, after like, okay, you're not the actual bad guy here. Try to get to the point in my brain. You're not the bad guy, and Flash is telling this, like, we have the evidence to prove that you didn't do this, Birch, you're innocent. And the ground's shaking, and I'm like, so is this like the meta that's causing all the problems? Like, is the meta going to reveal itself? Or himself, herself, whatever? And no, there's like all this lava that's under Central City within 30 seconds. If something is not done, the whole city is going to be like swarming with lava. I have no idea. I'm like, wait, this episode went from a smaller scaled episode, more emotional, more impactful for Barry in terms of his connecting this case to his father, to now the whole city is now in danger of lava. And then Birch's abilities to inhale all of the like heat or whatever, like the heat gas or whatever. I have no idea. It was really came out of left field, honestly. It felt really random. It did. But yeah, I kind of wish they would have maybe found something else that would have connected Barry to thinking back on what happened to his father and the whole innocent thing, or maybe just a different character entirely, because I felt like the whole Birch thing, we've already got introduced to him, that he was a character that no one really connected to, like no one cared for this character when they introduced him years ago, and I still don't really connect with him that much. But I would say overall the CSI work side of it was definitely handled better in this episode, but I don't know, I think overall that aspect of it was overall solid in terms of the connection to Henry. But if that wasn't there and it was just another Birch episode in terms of this meta with fire, it wouldn't have been as great. But the Henry Allen aspect definitely improved it. So we have Iris and Allegra, and I think her name's Taylor. I really don't care what her name is, but she works under Allegra, and they're supposed to go like interview this like social media star or whatever at CC Jitters. Of course, CC Jitters of all places, of course, always go there. And Allegra doesn't want to go, and Iris like, I'm your boss, and you need to supervise her during the interview. And so they go, and then she sees from afar, and I'm like, who? Like, I don't know who this woman is. And for a bit, they really don't explain who she is. But she sees somebody who's working picking up trash at CC Jitters, and this is somebody that Allegra used to, I guess, be friends with, and I guess used to do bad things with, because Allegra changed her life around, and this woman has also as well. But she's like, you know, I busted my ass getting my GED in jail, and I got out, and look where I am, and look at you. You have this really great job at, you know, Central City. What, I forget what the place is called, anyways. But you have this great job. And I can't get that. My first job was like cleaning up porta potties or something. I'm like, ugh. Like, this is now where I have now. I'm cleaning trash at CC Jitters. So Allegra, without getting it approved by Iris, but of course Iris approved the other girl Taylor's article to be, you know, written out and everything, into the interview with the social media person. Allegra just said, forget that crap. I'm going to write my own story and write about her life. And Iris ultimately chose that article because it was better written, because Allegra knows how to write, versus this Taylor girl who apparently doesn't know how to write. And Iris is saying, like, she didn't do this, this, and this, and this place saying it's not great, but yours is fantastic. But we're going to still run her article, but you need to go talk to her. And Taylor, I think that's her name, doesn't really matter, but she said, yeah, I'm going to destroy you, Allegra. I'm going to destroy you because you screwed me over. Because you got a favor to get yours published, and like I said, even though, you know, Allegra's saying she was trying to apologize. She actually was trying to be legitimately apologizing, but it didn't really matter. So then there was also bits as well in terms of them talking about Henry, and of course at the end of the episode, them celebrating Henry's life and everything. I didn't realize how. I mean, I think they might have addressed it before, but Henry and Joe knew each other before, of course, you know, everything that happened with Barry's mom, and of course, and Henry being arrested. But they were really addressing it like Joe and Henry knew each other like quite well. I'm trying to remember if I think they have addressed that, but I'm trying to remember if they really like went into depth like this episode. I don't think so, but man, they really talked a lot about how they really knew each other. So I guess it helps with the fact that why he took Barry in. But so overall, this was a definitely a better episode than last week for sure. I'm just kind of wish they would have had did a different villain, or in terms of like, you know, the mystery of it in terms of this, whoever this Meta is, the serial killer or whatever. That's the interesting part. The Burt stuff I could have done without. They could have found someone else and tied it with the Henry stuff, but it's good they brought up the Henry stuff. I'll give them that. So anyways, that's the video. That's the reaction. I'm curious to know, guys, what do you think about this episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. And what do you think about this mystery? Who do you think it might be? Do you think it's like a made-up villain? It could be. I have no idea. But whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.